She asked, "Why are you here at my house?" The single dad janitor replied, "To keep you alive." The rain was hammering the windows like it wanted to break in. Emily Harper, 78 years old, sat alone in her darkened living room, the only light coming from the flickering TV that she wasn't even watching. Her oxygen tank hissed beside the recliner, a constant reminder that every breath was borrowed time. Outside, thunder growled. Inside, the house creaked like it was as tired as she was. She hadn't left this chair in 3 days. The fridge was empty except for a half carton of spoiled milk. The phone was dead because she'd forgotten to pay the bill again. Her only son lived 2 states away and hadn't called in 6 weeks. The home care nurse had quit last month, saying Emily was too difficult. So she waited. For what, she wasn't sure. Maybe for the end to feel less lonely. Then came the knock. 3 slow, heavy knocks that somehow cut through the storm. Emily froze. No one visited anymore. Delivery drivers left things on the porch. Jehovah's Witnesses didn't come in weather like this. She clutched the arms of her chair, heart racing hard enough to make the oxygen alarm chirp. Another 3 knocks. Louder. With shaking legs, she shuffled to the door, dragging the oxygen tank behind her like a stubborn dog. She didn't even bother looking through the peephole. She just cracked the door an inch, safety chain still on. A man stood there, soaked to the bone. Navy janitor uniform, name tag half peeling off, Marcus. Water dripped from his graying beard. In one hand he held a plastic grocery bag, in the other a flashlight that lit up his tired, kind eyes. Emily squinted. "We don't want any." "I'm not selling anything, Mrs. Harper," he said, voice low, steady, warm like a fireplace you forgot you missed. "I'm here because you haven't picked up your trash in 2 weeks." She stared. The apartment complex where Marcus worked as night janitor was 3 miles away. She hadn't lived there in 8 years. "You've got the wrong person," she rasped. "No, ma'am. I don't." He lifted the grocery bag slightly. "May I come in? It's pouring, and I brought milk that's still cold." Something in his voice made her fingers move before her brain caught up. The chain slid off. The door opened. Marcus stepped inside, leaving wet footprints on her faded rug. He didn't wait for permission, he went straight to the kitchen like he'd been here 100 times, unpacking the bag, bread, eggs, soup cans, bananas, a small carton of vanilla ice cream. Emily watched from the doorway, arms folded tight over her housecoat. "You didn't answer my question," she said sharply. "Why are you here at my house?" Marcus didn't turn around. He put the milk in the fridge, closed it gently, then finally met her eyes. "To keep you alive, Mrs. Harper." The words hung in the air like church bells. Emily felt her throat close. "You don't even know me." "I know enough." He wiped his hands on a dish towel that had been hanging there since the Bush administration. "I know you used to bring homemade cookies to the leasing office every Christmas. I know you always asked how my daughter was doing on her spelling tests. I know you stopped coming to the complex potlucks when your husband passed, and then you moved out without saying goodbye. And I know the mailman's been stacking your mail on the porch because no one's been bringing it in." Her lip trembled. She turned away so he wouldn't see. Marcus's voice softened. "I'm not here for thanks. I'm here because 8 years ago, when my wife died and I couldn't get out of bed, you left a lasagna on my doorstep with a note that said, 'Feed that little girl, Marcus. She needs her daddy.' I never got to say thank you. So I'm here to pay it back. That's all." Emily sank into a kitchen chair, suddenly dizzy. The oxygen tank hissed louder, like it was scolding her for forgetting to breathe. Marcus filled a glass with water, set it in front of her. "Drink." She drank. He started cooking. Eggs, toast, sliced banana. Simple things. But the smell filled the house with life it hadn't known in years. That was the first night. He came back the next evening. And the next. Always after his janitor shift ended at 9 p.m. Always in the rain or the cold or the dark. He brought groceries he couldn't really afford, paid with overtime hours. He fixed the leaky faucet that had dripped for 2 years. He changed the furnace filter. He sat with her while she watched her shows, not saying much, just there. Emily fought it at first. "You're wasting your time," she told him one night, voice like gravel. "I'm not your charity case." "Never said you were," Marcus replied, stirring soup on the stove. "But my daughter Lily thinks you're her grandma now, so you're stuck with us." Emily's eyes burned. She hadn't cried in 15 years. Slowly, the house changed. Light bulbs got replaced. The floors got swept. Pictures that had leaned crooked since 2025 were straightened. And Emily, grudgingly, furiously, started waiting for the knock each night. One evening in early spring, Marcus arrived carrying not groceries, but a little girl with braids and a missing front tooth. "This is Lily," he said simply. Lily marched right up to Emily, hands on hips. "Daddy says you make the best cookies in the world. He lied to me for 8 whole years. I'm mad." Emily stared. Then, to her own shock, she laughed. A real laugh, rusty and loud. That night, 3 generations sat around a wobbly kitchen table eating slightly burnt chocolate chip cookies and too much milk. Lily fell asleep on the couch with her head in Emily's lap. Marcus carried her to the truck at midnight, but not before Emily pressed a Tupperware of cookies into his hands. "You come back tomorrow," she ordered. "Yes, ma'am." Summer came. Doctor's appointments Emily had been ignoring got scheduled, and attended, because Marcus drove her. The oxygen tank got upgraded. She started walking to the mailbox again. Then to the corner. Then around the block, Marcus matching his long stride to her shuffle, never letting her feel like a burden. One October evening, the roles reversed. Marcus showed up pale, shoulders slumped. Lily wasn't with him. Emily took one look and knew. "They're cutting my hours at work," he said quietly, sitting at the kitchen table where they'd shared 1,000 cups of tea. "Rent's late. Lily needs braces. I don't know how we're gonna make it." Emily didn't hesitate. She disappeared into her bedroom and came back with a shoebox. Inside, every Social Security check she hadn't spent in 2 years, rolled tight with rubber bands. Over $20,000. Marcus stared. "Mrs. Harper. You'll take it," she said fiercely. "You'll take it because 8 years ago I couldn't save my own husband, but I can save you and that little girl. And you don't get to argue with a dying woman." He cried then. Big, silent tears rolling down his weathered face. Emily reached across the table and took his hand. "Listen to me, Marcus. You kept me alive. Now let me return the favor." He took the money. Paid rent. Got Lily's braces. Kept his job. Winter returned. The knock came one last time on a snowy December night. Emily was ready. She'd been fading for weeks, quietly, gracefully. The doctor said days, maybe hours. Marcus sat by her bed, Lily asleep in the recliner with a children's book open on her chest. Emily's voice was barely a whisper. "Why did you do it, Marcus? Really? A stranger's lasagna doesn't make you owe a life." Marcus leaned close, eyes shining. "Because you taught me something that night with the lasagna, Mrs. Harper. You taught me that even when you have nothing left, you can still give. And that giving? It's the only thing that makes the darkness bearable." He squeezed her hand. "You didn't just keep me alive back then," he whispered. You reminded me why I wanted to be. Emily smiled, eyes fluttering. Tell Lily. Grandma loves her. I will. And Marcus? Yes, ma'am. You were never the janitor. You were the angel. Always were. Her breathing slowed. The oxygen tank gave one final, gentle hiss. And Emily Harper left this world the way she'd lived the last year of it, surrounded by family she'd chosen, and who had chosen her back. Spring came again. If you walk past a certain little house on Maple Street, you'll see a flower garden that wasn't there before. Roses, mostly. And a small plaque by the porch that reads, "In memory of Emily Harper, she kept us all alive." And if you look closely, you'll see a tall man with gray in his beard and a teenage girl with braces watering those roses every Sunday evening, without fail. Because some debts can never be repaid. They can only be paid forward. If this story touched your heart even a little, do me a favor, hit that like button so YouTube shows it to someone else who might need it tonight. And if you want to stick around for more stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things with love, subscribe and ring the bell. We drop new ones every week. Because the world's dark enough. Let's keep each other alive. See you in the next one.